What is our response as Palestinian Christians to violence? Our position, our answer is very clear. We reject any kind of violence that removes the dignity and humanity and the image and likeness of God in all of humanity. That includes the Muslim, the Palestinian Muslim, that includes the Jewish Israeli. We need to fight violence that is within us. Any kind of tendency towards hatred or rejection, any kind of Islamophobia or anti-Semitism or xenophobia, or any kind of sluggish indifference to injustice and meanness and hatred. Secondly, we need to fight and reject violence towards my neighbor, towards my Muslim neighbor, towards my Christian neighbor, and my Jewish neighbor. And I also need to reject violence towards my enemy, which for the majority of the Palestinians, that is the Israeli enemy, the Jewish Israeli enemy. And so when Hamas launches rockets at Israel, I as a Palestinian Christian, I'm gonna stand against it. When Israel and the IDF attack Palestinians and kill children in Gaza, I'm gonna stand against it. When Israel has checkpoints and walls, when they annex lands of Palestinians, I'm gonna stand against it. This is all forms and physical applications of violence and of hatred. And we have to stand against it. We have to stand against injustice and any shape and form of violence. And at the same time, we need to understand what leads people to violence. What leads Hamas to violence and what leads Israel to violence? We need to understand the hurt and the trauma that exists in Palestinians, in the children who were hurt, and also in the Jewish Israelis who also had a history of violence and of hatred towards them. We need to seek healing and reconciliation between both people. We need to pursue justice and equality for both people. Violence can never end between the Palestinians and the Israelis if there is no justice given to both peoples. If there's no justice, there can be no peace. And if there's no peace, there is no reconciliation. We are called to be peacemakers. And it confounds us as Palestinian Christians when many Christians, especially from the West, come and say, look at Muslims, look at this, look at that, as if that is a solution. That is not a solution. That only exasperates the violence and the hatred and the rejection. We are called to be peacemakers. We need to make peace. We need to beat our swords into plowshares. Are we actively restoring dignity and humanity for both people, for the Palestinians and the Israelis? Are we seeking true shalom, true peace, true justice between both people? Whenever we do that, we can be sure that violence is going to end and there's going to be peace in this land.